Welcome everyone for the 23rd class of Taittareeya Upanishad. All the replays of the previous 22 are available either as replays or on YouTube Advaita Retold channel. There are two documents. One document pinned up here in the room is the particular Taittareeya Upanishad, but the 8 Upanishad volume is also available as a link in the chat. So special thanks to Binduji for conducting this very consistently. And we have the classes every Wednesday and Friday at the same time with the follow-up QA session, common general QA session, and specifically with these Upanishads on Sunday at the same time. So I'll turn off the chat and hand raising for the time being, and then I'll leave it open after the session. So over to you, Binduji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash, and welcome all for the 23rd session as told by Prakash. We'll continue with the Brahmanandavalli. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibeda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Shanti Mantram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we were into the Pancha Kosha. Even though Pancha Kosha is used in a different sense, the word Kosha has been used only once by the Shankaracharya in the Bhashya, but Upanishad never uses it anywhere. But the word Kosha is used in a different meaning, not as sheath, which is used for Panchakosha Viveka for the meditation purpose. Neti neti for saying I am not the Anandamaya Kosa, etc. But here, everything is to be treated as Atma. Anyo Antaratma is common to all of them. So Anya, but it is Antaratama, therefore Atma in a subtle form. To mean that, the kosha word is used like that of a onion. Even though it is appearing to be peeling off, but the onion doesn't exist if the peels are removed. The onion itself is the peel. So we have to understand that here the different subtle, from the gross to the subtler level it is moving. It cannot be segregated one from another because the subtler one pervades and permeates the grosser one. So the subtlemost, the Anandamaya, pervades even the Annamaya. Or the grosser to Annamaya, the Pranamaya is there. That is pervading to Annamaya, but not to Manomaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. So that is how one has to understand the here Mayat Pratyaya, which is called, Mayat is a Pratyaya which is used Annamaya, Ana, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. The Mayat is a Pratyaya which is used in two different meanings. One is Prachuryarthe, means it is full of that. Then the other meaning is Adhikaranarthe. So it is that it gives the substratum, or it is the based on which the activities of that particular level is taking place. So having completed the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya has been sold where Ritam, Rig, Dakshinapakshaha, Soma, Uttarapakshaha, Adesha Atma, Atharvangirasa Pucham Pratishta. And this being a pure Vedic Upasana, it was concluded that, there it is moving down from the Pranamaya to Manomaya, and from here onwards, it becomes highly esoterical in the sense that it is not possible for ordinary mind to conceive or even imagine the nature in which they are functioning. To make it very clear to us, the Upanishad itself says, Yado vacho nivartande aprapya manasasaha anandam brahmano vidwan na biveti katachaneti tasyeva esha sharira atma yah purvasya tasmadvad yetasmad manomayat anya antaraha atma vijnanamaya. So that is what we discussed it. Tenesha purnaha sava yesha purushavidaha tasya purushavidatam annayam purushavidaha tasya shraddeva shiraha ridam dakshina pakshaha satyam uttara pakshaha yoga atma mahapucham pratishta tadapyesha sloko bhavati. Now, having completed this in the last room where we discussed about this Ritam, Satyam and Yoga and Maha. Now, how does that Vijnanam, Yajnam Tanute, that is where we are going to start today. Vijnanam Yajnam Tanute, Karmani Tanute Picha, Vijnanam Deva Sarve, Brahma Jyashtam Upasate, Vijnanam Brahma Ched Veda, Tasmat Chenna Pramadhyati. Sharire papmano hitva sarvan kaman samasnute iti tasya esha eva sharira atma yah purvasya tasmad etasmad vijnanamayat anya antaraha atmaha anandamayaha tena esha purnaha sava esha purushavida eva tasya purushavidatam annoyam purushavidaha tasya priyameva shiraha moda dakshina pakshaha Pramoda Uttara Pakshaha Ananda Atma Brahma Pucham Pratishta Tadapyesha Sloko Bhavati. This is how the fifth Anuvak is concluded. So Vijnanam Yajnam Tanute. This is where we started, and we knew that Tasmat Chenna Pramadhyati, how it is the Pramada doesn't take place. So for that Tannivrityartam Uchyate Tasmat Tenna Pramadhyati iti. Now, Sarire Papmanam Hitva is the next word which is being commented upon by Shankaracharya. Annamayadishu Atmabhavam Hitva Kevale Vijnanamaye Brahmani Atmatvam Bhavayan Aste Ched Ityartaha Tada Kim Syat iti Uchyate. Sharire Papmano Hitva Sharira Abhimana Nimitta Hi Sarve Papmanaha. So, Annamayadishu Atmabhavam Hitva, having abandoned or left the identity with the Annamayadi, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Kevale Vijnanamaye Brahmani Atmatvam Bhavayan Aste iti ityartaha. So, when we are identifying ourselves, we have been shown that Annamaya is the grossest level, but the Annamaya is supported by the Pranamaya, and then the Pranamaya is supported by the Manomaya. Now, Annamayadishu Atmabhavam Hitva means Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. In these three, Atmabhavam, the identification that I am the Manomaya, because that is where most of the problem lies. We are always identifying ourselves with our thoughts, emotions and feelings and think that I am happy, I am unhappy, I am, doing this, even though the act of action is done by the body, the abhimanam or the ownership is in the mind that I am the doer. So all these things have to be hitva means abandoned. Kevale Vijnanamaya. In the Kevale Vijnanamaya, in the Vijnanamaya alone means here we have to intellectually or by understanding, we have to de-identify ourselves that we are the earlier three. Brahmani Atma Bhavam Bhavayan. So that Vijnanamaya Brahmani Atma Bhavam. That Brahma Bhavam means Atma Bhavam. So here now we have to elevate ourselves from the mere emotional level to the intelligence level, and identify that we are given the special faculty to make the viveka, nitya nitya vastu viveka, and what is called sat asat, the identifying what is satyam and anartham, what is jnanam and is possible through vijnanam. At the mind level, we don't have the faculty to differentiate that. Only at the intelligent level we can do that. Therefore, Vijnanamaye Brahmani Atmatvam Bhavayan. So having made ourselves feel that now we are the intelligent species in this whole creation, therefore we should be able to deploy our intelligence to de-identify ourselves from the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Tadat kim syat? If that is the case, what will happen? Uchyate. So the answer is given. Sharire papmano hitva. The Upanishad says that Sharire papmano hitva. What does it mean? Sharira abhimana nimitta hi sarve papana. See, all the punya and papa is the result of our activity, physical actions. So, Sharira Abhimani means the ego or the individuality feeling that I am the intellect or I am the mind, I am the pranamaya or I am the manomaya. All these type of nimittam, abhimanam nimittam is the cause, reason for sarve papamana. Now here we have to understand that even though the Upanishad is only papa, we have to take papa and punya. Teshe cha vijnanamaye brahmani atma abhimanat nimittapaye hanam upapadyate chhatrapaye chayaya iva. Like when the umbrella is removed, the shadow is also removed. This example is being given for the connection between karma and karma phala. All the activities, vacha, manasa, vacha, karmana, all these three type of activity which is related to the Vedic karmas and Laukika karmas, the karmatvam or the ownership of action is due to the identification of the karma. Or I am the doer. I am the doer for the physical action. I am the doer of the verbal activity. I am the doer of the mental upasana or the mental thoughts. All these kartrutvam or the ownership of action makes the result of the action also to the doership, because the doership is entitled for the result. Therefore, the result is also on the doership. So what the Upanishad says that Sharire Papmanam Hitva. This can be done only by the intelligent or the understanding or Viveka or the Vijnana. At the mind level, Manasa Vacha Karmana, when we are doing the activities, the abhimanatvam or the ownership or the ego for the actions are residing in us. That can be abandoned not by not doing any work or not thinking or not talking or not chanting the mantras, etc. The doership is not there, can be affected or successfully implemented only if we know what is the ownership or the kartrutva. Tesham cha vijnanamaye brahmani atma abhimanatvan. That can be done only brahmanyatma abhimanat nimittapaye hanapadya. When the kartrutvam is not attributed to the manasa vacha karmana, vijnanamaye brahmani. In the vijnanamaya, we have to do the adhyahara or the identity with Brahman or Atman. This understanding or this knowledge or this awareness or this consciousness which is there in our understanding or knowing or experiencing, that itself is the Brahman, is the reflection of Brahman. That when we take that attitude, the resultant effect will be that we will avoid that kartrutva and bhoktrutva at the lower levels. Tasmat sharira abhimana nimittan sarvan papmanaha sharira prabhavan sharire eva hitva vijnanamaya brahma swarupavanna tatstan sarvan kaman vijnanamayena eva atmana samasnude samyak bhunkte ityartha. What does this say? That tasmat, therefore, sharira abhimana nimittan sarvan papmanaha. All the papas and punyas are only due to the identification of the ego with the bodies. Sharira prabhavan sharire eva hitva. Whatever is happening due to the sharira is entitled only for the sharira, not for me. See, here is a very important message which is being given. How does a jnani approach his physical body being functional after Brahmajnana is hidden in this statement by the Bhashyakara statement. Whatever is happening due to the identification of the body is the problem of the body, not mine. Because Vijnanamaye Brahmani Atma Abhimanat, we are now identifying at the understanding level or the intelligence level that we are neither the Annamaya nor the Pranamaya nor the Manomaya as the what you call ultimate nature, because the subtler is our nature. We are able to elevate ourselves from the grosser level to the subtler level. So when it is happening, all the activities of the Pranamaya is left at Pranamaya, Manomaya is left for the mind, and the Annamaya is left for the Annamaya level. So, if our mind is agitated with the Vijnanamaya, with the intelligence or with the understanding or with the conscious effort, we can see that the effect of the mind is now getting agitated because it has been created by the mind. Suppose expectation is there and that expectation doesn't get fulfilled. We get disappointed. Now, intelligently we can say that I expected it, it didn't happen, therefore the mind is getting agitated or sad or depressed. So this way, if you abandon or let mind for having done the action is now suffering the action, and I am at the Vijnana level Brahman. So when you are not identifying Abhimanam with the Manomaya, it is easy for us to observe it as the effect of the mind. Same as the pranamaya, which includes the vak and the indriyas, also be all the devas which are there in the mind also, and annamaya also, vachikam, kayikam, manasikam. All these three karmas, mind, by work, by speech, and by thoughts. All these are due to identification with the respective levels. So only Vijnanamaya na eva atmana samasnute. So what happens is that Sharira Prabhavan Sharire eva hitva Vijnanamaya Brahma Swarupa Apannaha. He takes refuge in the Brahma Swarupa at the Vijnana level, at the intelligence level. Tat stan sarvan kaman Vijnanamayena eva atmana samusnude samyak bhunkte ityartaha. If the Vijnanamaya is not deployed properly, all these sarvan kaman, all the kamans, all the activities and the results and their desires for that, Vijnanamayena, due to the non-segregation of Vijnanamaya from the identification with the mind in pranamaya and annamaya, makes the papmana sharira, this thing, what you call kaman, and that kaman becomes samyak bhunkte, is now being enjoyed by the individual, thinking, not knowing that it is the identification of the ego with that respective body that we are having the physical level, mental level, and organs level enjoyments and the consequences of the enjoyment. Tasya purvasya manomayasya atma esha eva sharira manomaye bhava shariraha. So here purvasya manomayasya atma esha eva sharire manomaye bhava shariraha. So shariraha. So what is sharira? Manomaya ye bhava. Whatever is happening at the mind level is manomaya. The identification with the manomaya. We were told to graduate from the annamaya to the other levels. But when we reach at the vijnanamaya, we have to understand that whatever has happened at the mind level is due to the sharira at the mind level, and mind at the sharira level is called the sharira. Kaha? Ya esha vijnanamaya. Now, the sharira of vijnanamaya is pervading through manomaya, pranamaya, and annamaya. Therefore, tasmat etasmat ityuktarthat. Therefore, manomaya, vijnanamaya is what is being is created. Therefore, anya antaraha means it is subtler than the manomaya. Therefore, it is more pervasive and having more power. The subtler one has more power than the grosser one. We saw that when we came to the manomaya level. So therefore, here we are saying Anandamaya iti karya atma pratiti adhikarat mayat shabdascha. So here Anandamaya iti karyatma prapti. Anandamaya becomes the karya and the karana is vijnanamaya. How does that mayat? I told you about it is due to the adhikara or the substratum. The substratum of the manomaya is the gross vijnanamaya, and vijnanamaya is due to the subtler anandamaya. Now here there is a long discussion, keeping in mind that there was a Acharya before Shankaracharya, Vashyakara, called Vrittikara, not Vartikakara Sureshwaracharya. This is called Vrittikara. His real name is not known. He is known as Vrittikara. Vrittikara in his commentary to this Upanishad has confused everyone, saying this Anandamaya is the Brahma itself, which is being spoken as Anandamaya Brahman. So there is a long discussion about Anandamaya and Anandamaya Adhikarana in the Brahma Sutra, just on this subject by Shankaracharya, taking lot of logic and lot of explanation on this Anandamaya confusion between as a Karyatma, which is closer to the Atma, but it is not Anandamaya. It is just like that, how we are getting confused. The knowledge that is happening in the Andakarana as the consciousness or the awareness. But the consciousness and the awareness at the mind or the intellect level is not really the consciousness or the awareness. It is a reflected consciousness or reflected awareness which we confuse ourselves with our consciousness, which the Upanishad talks about the Anandam Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma or Satchit Anandam Brahma, where the words are being used. That Brahma is Ananda Shabda, is the one which is now confused here by the Vrittikara as Brahman itself. But the word Mayat Pratyaya is being used, therefore we should not confuse this as the Karana Brahman or the Ekam Brahman, the Satyajnanam Anandam Brahman. Here it is Anandamaya, not Ananda Swarupa. This will come later, but I am giving this. Anandamaya is different from Ananda Swarupa. Annadimaya hi Karyatmano Bhautika Iha Adhikrita. Annamaya Adi, Annadi. From Anna, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, the fifth one. So all here, Karyatmanoho, Bhautika, Iha, Adhikrita. All of them are Bhautika, means of creation, of created from the Karana Brahman. Tad Adhikara Patitascha, I am Anandamayaha. So that substratum or the support for that all the creation is now residing or permeated by Anandamaya. Therefore, Anandamaya, like the space is permeating everything. And it is we can say the root cause of existence of everything. Because if the space has not been there, none of the creation or none of the objects, subtle or gross, will not be able to exist. So it is permeating everything from the subtler to the grossest or the grossest to the subtler, you can say, and the space is the subtlemost. Same way, this Anandamaya is also a karya, is an effect when it compares to the Brahman or the Satyajnanam Anandam Brahma. But being the subtlemost, like the space being the subtlemost, Anandamaya is the subtlemost for the all Annadimaya. Annadimaya means Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. All of them, for them, the Adhikaraha. Mayat cha atra vikararte drishtaha yada Annamaya ityatra. So here the Mayat cha atra vikararte. Vikara means modification. So Adhikara and Vikara, not as a Prachuryarte, not as full with that, it's not Ananda Swarupa. Tasmat Karyatma Anandamayaha Pretitavya. Pretyatavya. Sankarmanacha. And those are the two things, because Atmanam Upasankramati, that word is used, Sankramanam, means pervading. that pervading nature of objects are possible only in creation. But in Brahman is, even though we use that Brahmavid apnodi sarvam, Brahmavid apnodi sarvam, and that way Brahmavid becomes, permeates everything. But Brahman himself or itself doesn't have to permeate because it is in which everything is existing. So, as an adjective, we say that space is permeating through everything. But actually speaking, the space has no activity to permeate or no need to permeate. The very presence of the nature of space is to what? To give space for anything and everything to come into existence. Same way, Brahman is the Adhikara or the Sarvadhikara or the substratum for everything. And everything is now depending upon the Brahman, and they become Bhautika and Ihadikrita. That is what is now here being used. Anandamaya Atmanam Upasankramati iti Vakshyati. Because here Ananda Swarupam Upasankramati iti Nasti. There is no way it is saying that the Swarupa Atma or the Atma Swarupa or Brahma Swarupa is the one who is permeating. No. It is what is saying Anandamayam Atmanam Upasankramati. So that the identification of the individual, where the individual is now feeling the happiness, is due to this Anandamaya Kosa. Karya Atmanam cha Sankramane Annatmanam Drishtam. For this purpose, Karya Atmanam, all these are all effects. Karya. Even though none of them are away from Brahman, they are all considered as independent for the purpose of description, but not for their dependency from the Brahman. Therefore, they are called Karyatmas. And therefore, what we have to understand is that Anandamaya is now to be understood as the Karyatma, Tasmat Karyatma Anandamaya. And Karyatmanam cha Sankramanyam Atmanam Drishtam. Sankramanya Karmatvena cha Anandamaya Atma Shruyate. Yatha Anandamayam Atmanam Upasankramati iti. So what happens is that this Sankramanam or the permeation is an activity, Karmatvena. Due to the activity of pervasion, Anandamaya Atma Shruyate. Therefore, Anandamaya is to be now meditated upon Anandamaya as Atma, and therefore Anandamayam Atmanam Upasankramati is the word used in the Upanishad. Nacha Atmanaha eva Upasankramanam Adhikara Virodhat. So, what happens is the Atman or Brahman cannot be pervading inside everything. See, it's very subtle. We have to understand that the difference between, we say the space is pervading inside the objects. No. Actually, the activity is that the space cannot be pervading because it is present, in which presence only the things can come up in the existence. Same way, Brahman Atman is that Satyatyanam Anandam nature or the Lakshyartha, with which we have been told that what is that nature of Brahman. Now that Brahman cannot be one which is pervading everything, but other way around, Atman or Brahman become the substratum in which everything can now appear to be existing. They are not created separately from Brahman. Therefore, we may confuse that the Brahman is permeating everything. There is no separation. How can there be? That is why the word used that it is not possible for Atman or Brahmana for Sankramanam, for permeation, because the appearance is inside that Atman or Brahman. Therefore, Adhikara Virodhat. Then then it cannot be considered as the substratum. If the substratum is considered to be permeating into the object, then the object has to be outside the adhikar or the substratum, and then the substratum will have to go to enter into the object. I hope you are understanding that very clearly, that this is a very subtle difference. The space will have to be separate from the object to permeate inside the object. No, the objects are appearing in the space, so we call the space pervading inside the object. Therefore, the objects are appearing in space, and the space appears to be pervading inside the object. Same way, Brahman Atman is the substratum from which all the creation is supposed to be appearing in that. Therefore, we say that Atman or Brahman is pervading everything. But to pervade, the word has got a meaning. That is why the word Sankramanam has got a difficulty. Word it is used, it can mean only a place where it was not there it enters for pervading. This entering is not possible in the case of Atman or Brahman because everything is appearing in Atman and Brahman. Therefore, it is the Nacha Atmana Eva Upasankramanam Adhikara Virodhat Asambhavacha. It is impossible, in the impossibility. Why? Because there is nothing other than Atman or Brahman. Therefore, Atman or Brahman can never get into anything which is other than Atman or Brahman. That is why Asambhavacha. Nahi Atmana eva Atmana Upasankramanam Sambhavati. That is another impossibility. Since everything is appearing in Atman, there also has to be Atman nature. So, this Atmasraya dosha, or, one standing upon his own shoulders with the legs, that type of an activity is not, or one entering himself. One can enter in himself, inside himself. That is not possible. That is why, nahi Atmana eva Atmana Upasankramanam Sambhavati. So Atmani Bheda Abhavat. So Atmani, in one's own nature or one's own Swabhava, Swarupa, there is no Bheda. There is no difference in which, because everything is Atma Swarupa, and therefore Bheda Abhava. Atma Bhudam cha Brahma Sankramaitum. So, what is that? Atma Bhudam cha Brahma Sankramaitum. From Brahma, something as appearing in Brahma, into that Brahma cannot enter because it is appearing inside Brahman. Therefore, Sharira Adi Kalpana Anuvapanna Kalpana Anuvapattescha. So this all Kalpana only. Shariradi Kalpana is only Kalpana, is imagination or superimposition in Brahman. Nahi yata ukta lakshana akashadi karanaha karane akarya patitaha sharira adya avayava rupa kalpana upapadyate. Nahi yata ukta lakshane, not indeed, as example given, akashadi karane, like the face, akarya patitaha, sharira adya avayava rupa kalpana upapadyate. Like akarya, or any effect in the space cannot be outside the space. Same way, sharira adya avayava kalpana, rupa kalpana, has to be understood. the Sharira, Pranama, Sharira, all Sharira, that is Annamaya Sharira, Pranamaya Sharira, Manomaya Sharira, all of them. Why? Because the Upanishad itself, in the Taittareeya itself, it says, Adrishye, Anatme, Anirukte, Anilayane. So all these things are negating. Adrishya, in this Adrishya, Anatme, it is not separate from itself. Anirukte, Anilayane. It is neither the substratum nor for defining it separately. Astulam Ananu. In the Brihadaranya Upanishad is the Astulam Ananu. That it is neither gross nor subtle. Neti Neti Atma. Brihadaranya Upanishad again. Ityadi Vishesha Apoha Shrudibhyascha. All these Shrutis, which is Adrishye, Anatme, Anukte, Anilayane, Astulam, Ananu, Aneti, Neti, Atma, all of them are Vishesha Apoha Shruti. Vishesha Apoha means removing. Any sort of Vishesha or adjectiveness or the description or the qualifying of Atma is Apoha means removed by these definitions of the Shruti. This is why it is not possible Mantra Udaharanat Anuvapattescha. Therefore, this Anandamaya word has to be understood as this Vijnanamaya, like similar to Vijnanamaya, we are also having a happiness in our living. In our day-to-day living, we all are having happiness. That happiness should not be confused as the happiness of Brahman. For this purpose only, all these statements which was till now being referred or explained by Shankaracharya is to be understood. The reason is that even the happiness in the deep sleep is not Brahman. Even though we are comparing that, saying that the absence of the mind and the identity individual, everything is, therefore, Sukham Apswasam, I had a good sleep. That happiness of the sleep cannot be considered as that of Brahman. Even that is a Anandamaya. It is due to the Anandamaya nature of the Atma. The Anandamaya is Atma is nothing but a reflected sunlight. Now, whatever may be the nature of reflection, the reflection can never be a substitute for the one which is getting reflected. The sun reflecting can, on a mirror, the mirror can produce the same light, feeling, etc. But it can never be the sun itself. Because the sun, the size of the sun and the potency of the sun can never even come anywhere inside that reflection which is in the mirror. Nor can the mirror become the sun like, because then the mirror will not be there in its existence because of the heat and the light producing potency of the sun. Same way, the potency and the nature of the Swarupa Brahman is not possible for the happiness which we are enjoying in our life or in our this thing. Whatever experiences we call it as Ananda, it is all to the Karya or the effect or on the reflection of the Anandamaya Kosa. Therefore, we have to very clearly understand that Anandamaya is not to be confused with the Atma or the Brahma. Brahma Pucham Pradishta Ityavi cha Anuvapannam Pratak Brahmana Pratishta Tvena Grahanam. Before that, Isti Upavanha Surya Mandarana Dwara Nahi Priya Sharira Adi Avayava Vishishte Pratyakshato Anubhuyamano Anandamayaha Atmani Brahmani Nasti. Brahma iti Ashanka Abhavat. So here, in the Taittareeya Upanishad, there is a statement called Asanneva sa bhavati asad brahmeti veda chet. In this second Brahma, in this Upanishad itself, in the sixth Anuvaka, it will come as the first mantra. Asanne sa bhavati asad brahmeti chet veda chet. So what has I said? There, the mantra udaharanam upapadyate. What does the mantra say? Brahma iti ashanka abhavat. To remove the ashanka or the doubt is Anandamaya referring to Brahma. That removal is given here, asad brahmeti chet veta. So we have to understand that Anandamaya Atmani Brahmani Nasti. This Anandamaya is not what in the Brahma, Anandamaya is not there, whereas Brahma is permeating in the Anandamaya as a reflection. Therefore, the happiness which we are getting in the Priya, Shira, Adi Avayava Vishishtaha. Because here is the Tasya Priyameva Shiraha, Modo Uttara Pakshaha, Pramoda Dashkina Pakshaha. All these statements are there. Pratyaksha Anubhuyamane Anandamaya Atmani Brahmani Nasti. So this should not be confused with the Anandamaya or the Brahman itself. Tasmat Karya Apatitaha Evam Anandamaya Na Para Eva Atma. Na Param Eva Atma. So therefore this is, he is concluding saying that the Anandamaya is not the Ananda of Brahman, but it is a reflected Ananda of Brahman due to the proximity to Brahman. Because on the subtlest most, it is coming closest to the Swarupa or Avasthanam. Even though the Brahman is present through the Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya and Shariramaya, it is all appearing in Brahman only due to the subtler to the gross modifications which are present. The reflection is also lesser. The greatest reflection is present in the Anandamaya. Lesser reflection is in the Vijnanamaya. That is why we feel that Vijnanamaya, the consciousness or the awareness in the Vijnanamaya is also due to the consciousness. No, it is again reflected one. Then comes to the Manomaya, which is subtler than the Vijnanamaya. There also we have some sort of experiences, awareness happening about this in organs and sense organs feeding them, and we feel that we are knowing in that. That knowing is not the knowledge of Jnanam of Brahman, but it is again reflected, being the grosser than Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya and the Manomaya. And Pranamaya and Annamaya, we don't feel the Atma, but they are nothing but Atma Swarupa only, but being grosser level, we don't have the reflection feeling of that. Therefore, even though we are identifying with Annamaya as we are not able to identify the Atma in Annamaya. That is the problem. We are seeing Annamaya as Atma, but at the same time, I am differentiating my Annamaya different from your Annamaya. That if I am doing the differentiation, then I have not understood my Annamaya. I should be able to see the nature of Satyajnanam Anandam even in the Annamaya level, present not only in my Annamaya, but every Annamaya or every object which I am seeing. That possibility is not happening. Therefore, this, going from gross to subtler is being explained by the Upanishad as a upasana, as a means of meditation through which we can elevate ourselves. Now, what happens is that it said that Atma is not what is there in the Anandamaya. Therefore, Ananda iti vidya akarmanaha phalam. Vidya karmana phalam. Vidya karmana phalam. Ananda hi iti vidya ananda karmana phalam. Therefore, there is a happiness due to whenever punya karma is being done, we get happiness. Whenever papa is being done, we get a dukkha. So, if Ananda is the nature of Brahma, if Brahma is the Ananda or not in the Anandamaya is to be identified, when we are confusing with that, then there should not be dukkha. But dukkha is also there when there is beginning, enjoyment and end, and then dukkha beginning, enjoyment or suffering and ending. So this beginning and end and alternate of sukha and dukkha, this nature is due to vidya karmano. Vidya means upasana, and karmana means is Vedic karmas. Priyadi arthatvacha. Now priya, what is priya, moda, pramoda is being explained by Acharya. Now here. Priyadi prayukte hi vidya karmani. Priyadi, all this priya, moda, pramoda, these are the three things which of the nature of Ananda. And they have got equivalent negatives also. That is, that three levels of sorrow also. Tasmat priyadinam phalarupanam atma sannikarshad vijnanamayad asya abhyandaram tvam upapadyate. Now, how does this becomes inner than the vijnanamaya? Priyadinam phalarupanam atma sannikarshad. This priya, moda and pramoda, the three ways of which we experience happiness, that is Sannikarshat, is closer, this Maya, Anandamaya is closer to Atma. Therefore, we confuse them to be the nature of Atma. But Vijnanamayat Abhyandara Upapadyate. Therefore, we have to understand this as subtler than Vijnanamaya, because the Upanishad says Anyondara Atma. Andaram means subtler. Anyondaraha Atma. Subtler than the Vijnanamaya is the Anandamaya. So Priyadi Vasana Nivartatoho Hi Atma Anandamayaha Vijnanamaya Ashritaha Swapne Upalabhyate. Therefore, Priyadi Vasana Nivirtata Hi Atma Anandamaya Vijnanamaya Ashritaha Swapne Upalabhyate. Even in this dream, this happiness, because of Vijnanamaya Ashrita Anandamaya, due to the dependency of Anandamaya from the Vijnanamaya, is because Vijnanamaya is not present in the Swapna. Only Anandamaya is there. That is why we are having Ananda experience in the Swapna due to the dependency on the Anandamaya, but the absence of Vijnanamaya. That is why what is being Swapne Upalabhyate. Tasya Anandamaya sya Atmanaha Ishta Putradi Darshanajam Priyam Sharira Iva Shariraha. Shiraha. Priyam Shiraha Iva Shiraha. Tasya Anandamayasya Atmanaha. This nature of Atmana here is mean not Atman, but Asya Atmanaha means Anandamayasya Atma. Anandamayasya Swarupa. Not the Swarupa of Atma. Here Anandamayasya Swarupa, how does it happen? Ishta Putradi Darshanajam. Ishta means anything which is liked by us. We have a desire. Like Putradi Darshanam. Like son. we desire for a son, and when the son is born, we have what is called priyam. What is now the definition of priyam is ishta darshanam. When we have anything which we desire, when we see it, we have a joy in our internal nature, which is in the Anandamaya. That is called priyam. And moda idi priya labha nimitta harsha. Harsha means the enjoyment or the sensation. Priya moda. Moda idi priya labha nimitta. Whatever we had desired, when we receive it or when we acquire it, there is a different enjoyment than by observing it. Now, suppose if you want a sweet meat or a ice cream, by seeing that it is going to be mine, there is a enjoyment. But when you hold the cup of cone of ice cream in your hand, there is a higher level of happiness. That is called pramoda. Moda. And savayega prahrishta harshaha pramoda. But when you consume that, when it is being made internalized or yours, that is what is called pramoda. So, priya, moda, pramoda. These are the three gradations of happiness which is mentioned in the Upanishad, saying that tasya priyameva shiraha, moda dakshina pakshaha, pramoda uttara pakshaha. So this is the way in which has been mentioned. So priya, moda and pramoda has been said. Ananda iri sukha samanyam atma priyadinam sukha avayavanam teshu anusyudatvad. Now, Ananda Atma is which is being mentioned. The body or the body of the Anandamaya Kosa is Atma itself. Atma means not the Brahman or Atman here. What is it that? Priyadinam Sukha Avayavanam. All the happening of the Priya, Moda and Pramoda is depending upon the body of the Ananda. The Anandamaya, if you imagine it to be a bird, the head is the Priyam, the right wing is Pramoda, left wing is Pramoda, and the body of the bird is Ananda. Therefore, Avayava, the Priya, Moda and Shira are the Avayava of the Ananda. Therefore, Anusyudatvad, and it is permanently connected to the Anandamaya Kosa or the Priya, Moda and Pramoda. That is why this Priya, Moda, Pramoda is depending upon the Anandamaya Kosa. Ananda idi Param Brahma. Brahma Pucham Pradishta. Now, the Anandamaya Kosa is borrowing or depending upon for its own existence in the Param Brahma itself. Without the substratum, this Ananda cannot be reflected upon the Anandamaya Kosa. And Anandamaya Kosa has the reflected of the Ananda of Brahman. Therefore, what comes through the Avayavas, like the Moda, Pramoda and Priyam, is also confused and thought as the nature of Brahman by us. Therefore, tadhi shubhakramana pratyubhastana api mane putra mitradi vishesha upadau andakarana vritti visheshaha tamasa aprachyadyamane prasanno abhivajyate. Now, tadhi, this nature of itself, Shubhakarmana, when you do good activity, Pratyuvastapyamane, and when it is being achieved through putra mitradi vishaya vishesha upadau. By different means of either the son or friends, adi vishaya. They by the different objects or the source of which can give us happiness. Andakarana vritti vishesha. So it is being reflected in the inner bosom or the andakarana as a vritti vishesha, not as a swarupa. Tamasa aprachyadyamane. Due to the uncovering of the nature of tamas, prasanne abhivyajyate. As a prasanna or the happiness is now being divulged, abhivajyate. What happened? Tamasa. Due to the tamas or the ignorance, we confuse this happiness in our andakarana, which is a vritti vishesha. It is not the swarupa, our swarupa, but vritti vishesha. Whenever we are having any souls like putra, mitradi vishesha, vishaya vishesha, we are confusing this as sukha. Tad vishaya sukham iti, tad vishaya sukham iti prasiddham loke. In the world, we consider this as the, what you call, the happiness or at most happiness which we think that we are having as our Brahma nature. This is exactly, I'll discuss this more about all the activities, the karmas includes the karma of anything which is done by mind, vanasa, vacha, karmana. So the meditation or upasana or during the upasana, when we are having the happiness, which is a vritti vishesha, which is in the nature of thing, because it has a beginning, it has an enjoyment period, and it has an end period. So what has a beginning, what is an end, is a vritti vishesha. But Atma Swarupa has no, what you call, adishaya. There is no up or down or beginning or end. It is always the nature of Atma as a happiness. That should not be confused with the happiness which is appearing in the Andakarana due to Priya, Moda and Pramoda at the Anandamaya level. We will discuss this more in the Friday class when we are further discussion is available here. So, Vritti Vishesha, how does it help or happen during the Samadhi? All those things we can discuss in the Friday's class. I stop here for the today's lecture. We will continue this in the Friday class. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Binduji, for another wonderful session. I've opened both the chat window and hand raising. So if anybody has a question, discussion points, please come up. Namaste, Mukherjee.
Hari Om, Binduji, Hari Om, Prakash.
Hari Om.
This is a class to be contemplated a lot, Binduji. Um, that I think you gave a high step up on this to get going. I have few questions to clarify.
Yes.
Um, so the Manonmaya is more to do with Rutti Vishesha. Vijnanamaya to do with Nishchayatmaka.
That is also vritti.
Also Vritti. The Nishchayatmaka Buddhi can come after following that framework of the age. One utilizes that pravrutti that point more towards the source. With pravrutti that become more Nishchayatmaka. The wobbling won't be there because the access to that knowledge base at manas level is there, hence that alignment is there. This Anandamaya is
That is also vritti.
is also Vritti, but you put a Sukhamaya Purusha. It's a Sukha Purusha in a way to put it. The Sukha Purusha with the Priya Moda Pramoda structure made available, and it pervades everything all the way down. It shows up, like a goosebumps.
Yes.
Is the result of it, because
Right.
it goes into the gross, which is the Annamaya level. It is, it shows up. What happens inside will show up like this. Now, it pervades all of it. But this Sukha Purusha, but there is a counterpart, right, Madhuji? That Dukkha Purusha. That is there any Dukkha Purusha, or it's just a Rutti at a Manonmaya?
No, Dukkha Purusha in the Anandamaya is also due to Priya Moda Pramoda.
Okay, the result of it.
Yes. If the Priya doesn't happen, what will be the effect of it? We will have Dukkha.
Okay. So that is why that Rutti Vishesha pervades all of it, all three.
Right.
So Anandamaya, Vijnanamaya, and also Manonmaya. Okay. Now, Binduji, then it brings, different dimension, that Navarasa. All the Navarasas are, also at Anandamaya.
What are the Navarasas? You tell me.
Apart from Sukha Dukkha, then the, there is a sense of, for example, despair, sense of that Krodha, right? Krodha, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, all that.
All of them are in the Antakarana. Antakarana is mainly Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. But the effect of that, Punya Papa, the Karmana, Vidya and Karmana means Upasana and Karma. The Phala is at the Anandamaya level. And Anandamaya, since it is pervading the Vijnanamaya and Manomaya, we confuse the Vritti Vishesha at the mind level, when even the happiness is at the Anandamaya level, but we think it is in the mind we are having the happiness.
Okay. It is just a channeling of, it's like a float.
Right.
Blowing the air is from there, but it may show up on different levels due to that, variation of the opening and or closing the.
Right.
It's
Poles.
like, okay, poles. So that is what is going on here.
Yes.
Okay, Vinodji,
We should not confuse that mind is the one which is having happiness. The mind is not having happiness. Mind is having the vritti, but the happiness of the mind, happiness feeling, is due to Anandamaya, which is pervading the Vijnanamaya and Manomaya. It is there in the Manomaya, Pranamaya, and with Annamaya Sharira also. As you rightly said, the goosebumps when you are getting, happiness, or when you have perspiration, when you are having fear, that all those things are the effect of the Anandamaya permeating through the grosser levels.
Okay.
But it's all Vritti Vishesha.
Got it, Binodji. I think this is the quality of the equipment.
Yes.
Different levels, it shows up more in some, less in some.
Yes.
Okay. Now, then this one, I think that this is clear, Vinod. I think this gives a good clarity. Now, you use two things, that like Chidabhasa, that Ananda Abhasa, reflected Ananda. Now, now there is a Chida Abhasa, Sukha Abhasa. I'd say Ananda Abhasa, I'll use that word. Then the Chida Abhasa, I think the Chit, and where is Sat Abhasa? I'm just a dumb question, but it may, now is Sat Abhasa happening in Vijnanamaya more?
No, Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit. Sateva. So when we come to Asat, we will discuss this in the coming Anuvaksa, where Asateva, Asanneva Sataput Bhavati, and Asat Vedi Chet. All these questions are coming in the Upanishads itself. So just you have to wait for the detailed explanation when it comes to that Anuvaka in the 6th Anuvaka and 6th Anuvaka.
Okay, Madaji, I think Chidabhasa,
The Sat is being discussed there.
Okay, Madaji. We'll wait then. This Abhasas are now, at least Ananda Abhasa is more clear now. Okay, Madaji. This is good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venkat. It's very subtle discussions. Even I am not very happy with the explanation I am giving, but that is the best which I can do with the Shankara's commentary in mind. But when we do an introspection on the explanations, each one of us will have to elevate ourselves by Sharire Papanam Hitva. That word has got very important. That each level, whatever is being experienced by the body, is due to the activity identification by that level of the body. If the physical body is thinking that I am the doer, the pain and the suffering will be at the physical level. If the mind level, the ego is there operating and thinking that I am doing this karma, the punya and papa will be at the mind level. So at each level, we have to understand that. So when they say, the Upanishad says, Sharire Papanam Hitva, means abandoning the result of punya and papa to the respective levels of the body. That aspect is the one which is important for us to understand, that we are not the doer. We are identification that I am the doer is the reason why you are happiness, sukham and dukkham. So manayeva manushyanam karanam sukha dukkhayo. Mind is the reason for the happiness and sorrow, is not because the mind. The identification that I am the one with the mind, and at the mind level I am operating, that is the reason why we are having problems at the mental level. What are our true nature, and how are we to understand our physical body as grosser to the subtle level and the subtle most, Param Brahma, when we are thinking, Brahma Pucham Pradishta. That is where our establishing or identification, Abhimanam should be there at the Brahma level, not at the Sharira level. That Abhimana will go when Brahma, we have a Brahma Abhimanam. That Brahma Abhimanam will not be individualized Abhimanam, because Brahma is everything. Sarvam Khalidam Brahma. So the Abhimana will not be an individualized Abhimana. That Aham Brahmasmi Abhimana will be there. That I am everything. That Abhimana, that is what I am that. Or Tattvamasi becomes real for our experiential level.
So this Vritti Vishesha, Binoji, then that Brahmakara Vritti.
Brahmakara Vritti is a Vritti. Even that is a take. That at the Brahma level, there is no Vritti. There is no samyak, there is no jnanam there as knowable. As knowledge itself, it is to be differentiated from knowable. And there is no way we know Brahman. We can only be Brahman. We are Brahman. We can know that we are Brahman, but we cannot know we are Brahman. No more questions, I think that. Anybody else? Otherwise,
I have a question.
yes, please. Go ahead.
So this, the ability to hold these koshas in our attention. So in the upasana, you don't force anything, right? You just
No.
hold your attention, right?
Yes.
Yes. And experience the ananda in that, whichever kosha.
Right. And understand that ananda at the kosha level, whichever kosha you want to identify, that time ananda is being felt at the physical body level. Understand that is due to the identification of the body as I am the body, is the reason why that happiness or sorrow is happening at the physical body level.
Yes.
If the physical, the mental level, the happiness or sorrow is happening, is because at the mental level we are identifying that, I am the mind, or in my mind I have done this job in my mind, or it is mentally I have done this. So basically, if a mental activity is there, the happiness or sorrow also will be at the mental level. Like that, we have to understand that while observing that happenings at the physical level and the mental level, etc., do not identify with them. That is why the abhimanam hitva, that identification we have to abandon at the different levels when things are happening. This attitude becomes a conviction and the reality for a jnani, Brahmajnani. So even though he is physically active, mentally interactive, and appearing to be like a normal person for everyone, he is not identifying himself with either any one of the physical or mental or intellectual or Anandamaya level. He knows that he is beyond these things. They are all appearances in me, in my awareness, or in my nature of awareness, in my surupa of awareness. These bodies are mere appearances, and the happenings and the unhappening, or happiness and unhappiness at each level is due to if I identify them. So the jnani doesn't identify with them. And therefore, tasya prajna pratishtita. His prajna or his identification is with the Surupa nature, not at this physical and the mental and intellectual level or ananda level.
Yes. Thank you, Binduji. Namaste, Vinodji.
Namaste, Binduji. Namaste, Prakash.
Namaste, Vinod.
Binduji, so normally there is a source of the experience and the experience itself, right? I mean, in anything that we see, at least that's how we understand typically. So here also, the bodies are like, if we consider them as source of experience, then it is being experienced by Brahman. Can we put it that way or not?
No, we cannot. It is
I wanted to understand that. Yeah.
It is a vritti vishesha. In Brahman, there is no vritti. It is a swarupa. But the moment of it, a vritti vishesha comes. That vritti vishesha means the exact meaning of the vritti vishesha is that any identification and the consequence of the identification is called the vritti vishesha.
No, I will.
So if your physics.
Sorry, go ahead.
Not at the thought level alone. Even the level at which physical body if the identification is there, that happiness or sorrow, suppose if you are touching a fire and you are burning your finger, that activity is a vritti vishesha of the physical nature. By identifying I am touching the fire, or I touched the fire, therefore I got burned, he should be seen as a vritti vishesha of the Annamaya Kosa at the physical level and leave it at that. Don't own it, don't deny it. You are just an observer of it.
Yeah. I mean, no, only question was that Ritti Vishesha is belonging to the source or to the experiencer, or rather, is experiencer is the body, or the source of experience is all these five sheaths, basically.
Experiencer is the body, but the experience is happening due to the presence of the source.
But then, should we then say that apart from the five bodies, there is some other source which is causing the experiences?
Yes, that is Brahma.
Yeah, of course, like physical, so it is like that, right? So very clear.
Right.
Yeah. I think it makes sense. Thanks, Vidyacha. And
you.
Also, second point was like, why all this exists? Objective. What is the objective? Fundamental objective.
Objective of this explanation by the Upanishad is for us to graduate from the identification or abhimana with the body at the different levels.
No. My question was
to take us
existence itself in this particular way. What is the fundamental purpose of it?
Question of purpose is swabhava. That is the swabhava. You cannot call a purpose. A purpose is only in the cause and effect phenomena where we can have the purpose. The purpose doesn't happen in the swarupa of anything. Why the water is water? Is there a purpose for water to be water? Is there a purpose for air to be air? Is the purpose the space to be space?
If we assume it to be design, then we can have a purpose for that design.
No, there is not a design. It is the nature of things. The purpose is when we think that there is a purpose of it and use it, utility of it, then we bring in cause and effect and time and space and causation. That is the time when the purpose is coming. But if you take it as nature of things, the nature of space is to be space. The nature of fire to be fire. The nature of water to be water. The nature of us to be not as a physical being, but as Satyajnana, Satchidananda. That is our nature, not this nature of what we are appearing as a physical body. In the moment we de-identify from our Swarupa and identify ourselves as the physical body, then we are divorced from the reality and we have a false identity. Then we go through all the problems of it.
Thanks, Kaldesh.
Thank you, Vinod. Namaste, SK.
Yeah, hi, Pranam. So,
Pranam.
The problem with this swabhava is like, say, again, like the problem comes like because there is this dharma, right? And not only just dharma, there is also adharma.
Yes.
Right? If like say, because if everything is going by its swabhava, then we cannot really like call anything adharmic. Like say Duryodhana, no, we cannot say that he was adharmi. Right? Like because he was just doing his swabhava. So
no. Duryodhana had his intelligence, but he had his desires. And because of his desires, he did adharma. The desires at the level of the body, he identified himself with the body, thinking that he is all-powerful. And since he has done all these things by physical body and mental body with the negative attitude, so the adharma result of that happened to him in the war also. So the dharma and adharma is again at the manifestation level of the different bodies, either the mental level or the physical level. If you have identification, then that activities will bring happiness or sorrow. If dharma is done, then you get punya, which is as a result will be happiness. If you are done adharma, you will get unhappiness, and that is called the dukkha. You will get papa. You do papa, adharma, papa, and dukkha. So this is that is also swabhava of the karma. Like the swabhava of the creation, there is swabhava for karma also, because karma is also swabhava. So if dharmic karmas are done, the dharmic karmas result is punya, and punya is result is sukham. If adharmic karma is done, the result of adharmic karma is papa, and adharmic karma result of papa is dukkha. At whatever level you do, physical level, you get physical dukkha or sukha. At the mental level you do, at the mental level you get sukha or dukkha. This is subhava only, not only of the nature of the body, but the identification is the one which makes you do varied from the subhava. If the nature of fire is to burn, knowing the subhava of the fire, you have the intellectual thing, yet you want to put your finger in the fire to test whether it is hot or not. The water is hot or not, you can test it. You have boiled it for some time, you can see it boiling. So visually you are seeing it boiling, you know it is hot, but how hot it is you want to test, you put your finger, you get your finger burned. It is all due to activity only. So the karma swabhava, the vastu swabhava, and the ego level swabhava, where there is ignorance, the ego will go against the dharma or the swabhava of the vastu. Because ego thinks that it can manipulate and change the nature of things. They don't accept things the way it is coming. It may be good or bad. There is nothing called good or bad. But if the abhimana or the ego says that it is bad for me or good for me, that modification of the reaction of the body at the mind level or the physical level will be modified by the ego. Therefore, the reactions also, the karma will do the swabhava of the action based on which the ego is doing the activity. That is how it is.
Yeah. So what is the relationship between ego and Jivatma, Binduji, in the sense that
Yes, very good question. The relationship between ego and Jivatma is that the ego is a falsified nature of our true nature. We should be knowing our true nature. When we do not know our true nature, there is a falsified nature of ourselves which is called the ego. That falsified ego or alter ego or whatever name with, I don't know the modern usage of it, that pretends to be now the Jivatma and tries to control it.
So my doubt came because if the ego is the one doing the adharma, right, or any karma, then the Jivatma, why is it getting impacted? Because it accumulates it and it passes on.
Atnyanam,
Right?
ignorance, avidya.
Yeah, but
If you do not know your true nature and you think you are the physical body, the ego now operates at the physical body level. So you do physical adharmas. Or if the ego thinks that I am mentally strong and I can mental level, you want to do hani or a hurt to somebody at levels and everything. The ego is operating at the mental level. So the consequences also will be in the mental level. So the ego is the one which is driving that abhimana, abhimani, deha abhimani. So that abhimana is a false nature. It is not a swabhava of our true nature. Our swabhava is Atma, which is, Sarvatma Bhava. We should be having Sarvatma Bhava, that everything is Atma. That knowledge, absence of that, makes us feel that I am separate from the rest of the world or rest of the creation. I am separate, the world is separate from me. This feeling is the one which is creating the Abhimana or the ego. When you know the reality that Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, or all these things are nothing but Brahman appearing as names and forms, appearing in Brahman, and they need Brahman for their own existence, then you don't feel separated from everything. You feel oneness with everything. That is the time when the Abhimana will not be there, the ego will not be there. This is what Ramana Maharshi is also asking us to find out, who am I? The moment I know who the real I am, the I which I was thinking as Bindu will no more function as a separate Bindu, without giving consideration and appreciation and acceptance how others are also operating. Let the body operate, no problem. But don't have the ego at the body level, that I am the doer.
Yeah, sure, Vinod. But nowadays that say if ego and Jivatma are two distinct things, and the Jivatma is not impacted by what ego does, uh, then how does because Prarabdha karma comes in multiple births, right? It gets passed on. So how does that Jivatma accumulate what the ego has done, which is like outside of itself?
See, Jivatma is not separate from Atma or Brahman. The Jivatma is misidentified individual who is now the egoistic person. That is the person which is going through prarabdha karma, rebirth, etc., thinking that he is separate. He is the doer and the consequences of the doer. Then he tries to do good karma so that, he will have a good birth. All those things is due to misidentification of the true nature. In this Bhagavad Gita also says, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. This Atma, which is there in every one of us, is never born, never going to die. Therefore, it is intermittent things also, like growth, decay, disease. Nothing is of that of Atma. It is appearing to be separate. That appearance itself will become non-reality when you know that at every level it is Atma which is functioning. Even at the physical level, my physical level and your physical level, it is the same Atma operating. So when I don't see the separateness, even though the name and form wise you are separate from me, I don't see that I should separate you out for any activity. What is good for me is good for you. What is bad for me is bad for you. There is nothing called good or bad when we accept the Swarupa of everything in this world. Agate swakatam kuryat gachandanna divarayet. In Viveka Chodamani Shankaracharya says that. Let whatever happens happen, whatever goes, let it go. I neither gained nor lost anything, because I am everything. So that attitude is the one which will make us oneness with everything. Even though while functioning in the world, we will be at peace with everyone, and everybody will be sensing the peace in the presence of such a person.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yes.
Thank you, SK.
Yes, thank you, SK. Yeah. So I
Prakash,
think,
we can,
shall we close the room, Bindoji?
close the room for today.
Yes. So first I want to, thank Bindoji for, very immersive session on Taittareeya Upanishad with the Panchakoshas. And the follow-up questions and discussions from Venkatji, Vinodji, and SK, and everyone in the audience for participating. And Vinodji came up and asked questions too. So the next class is on Friday, same time. And hopefully you can do some Sravana Manana with this, and we will gather again. So heartfelt thank you to Binduji. Over to you, Binduji, to close it off.
Thank you, Prakash, Venkat, Vinod, and SK for the questions. Thank you all for being there. Hope you are got the essence of what today's session is. If you have any doubt, please come up with the questions. You can ask in the Friday class, or on Sunday we have a Q&A session. There also you can ask. I'm always available. You can email me also, or those who have got my number can contact me. Please be there on Friday for continuation, because I have not completed this Anandamaya Kosa aspect of Shankaracharya's commentary. See you all on Friday. Hari Om. Good night.
Good night, brother.
Good night.